Still enjoying the basketball scene, the playoffs and everything, man?
Yeah, dude. I mean, my big question, I mean, obviously we seen yesterday with the Lakers going down. Are they in trouble, man? Are they in trouble? We've been talking
So they were the
about
only
this.
team to go down?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure the Bucks went
I know
down. I'm pretty sure.
and I've said that too.
The Clippers were a questionable Porzingis ejection in the beginning of the third quarter from going down.
I agree with that too.
Yeah. I think the difference is right now, the teams that we talked about that had to compete to either get their seeding or actually make it into the playoffs, like we saw with the Trailblazers, they're a lot more in rhythm right now. They've been playing with intensity the whole time, which I told you when we was watching it when it first started, why I didn't want to watch it. Because it's like, dude, the teams that were already, had their seeding, already were going to be a top 2, top 3 team, the intensity isn't there for them. You can just see they're trying to like turn the switch on. And it's like I said, it's not just the Lakers. You look across at the Clippers, they look like that. Like I said, the Bucks definitely look like that. Multiple teams will look like that. And now you're over here watching the Magic like, oh yeah, the Magic are playing hard. Great. I don't want to see the Magic. I just don't. It's not
Versus the Bucks?
I'm just saying in general, like it's just not doing it for me, man.
I'm concerned about all those teams, to be honest with you. I really am. Because like you said with the Mavs, they were beating them the whole game. They were up 6 whenever Porzingis got ejected.
Oh, it was terrible.
And then Clippers went on their own run. Yeah, that was ridiculous all in and of itself. But talked about with the Bucks, and then even with the Lakers, with the Bucks, it was like, all right, all they have is Giannis, which Giannis still put up his numbers and everything. But dude, the Magic just they flat out beat them the whole game.
They looked like a better team.
I had that game on whenever I was doing stuff for us. I know you were at the radio, but man, there was not a point where the Bucks were able to really get back into that game.
Yeah, because
the
I tell
Magic
you, when
were
I was
up
watching
the whole time.
They at one point they were up by like 17. Then they can't cut it back to I think it was like single digits. But then still the whole time you could just tell the Magic were in control. And I'm just like, this is cool, but I don't really care about the Magic like that. I don't want to watch the Magic like that, man.
And then with the Lakers, they just, they couldn't shoot yesterday.
But that's been the story, the whole bubble for them, man, in terms of not being able to knock the open shots, lack of offensive rebounding. I mean, you would think with the amount of size that they play with, that they would be able to steal those extra possessions like that. But it was the contrary. They weren't pounding the boards. They weren't getting the second chance shots. And they weren't limiting the possessions of the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers, man, you watch them, man, they get down there, they getting buckets. Dame Dollar, I love him, man. His game is just filthy right now. But it's just like with them, man, you see how number one, they're playing team ball, but number two, they just look like they're playing with more urgency than the Lakers. And like I said, the Lakers play with that same level of urgency. The Bucks and the Clippers have all looked like they're just, we're supposed to be here. We're supposed to beat you by just showing up. Whereas the other teams are actually playing balls to the wall and like, hey, man, we're going to do whatever it takes to win these games.
Which I get to, and usually I defer to, all right, whatever. It's one game, and then, everything's going to pick up back to how it was. But the setting isn't how it was. It's just, I think it's way more interesting now. Usually in these first-round matchups, I think if all this happened where the Bucks, Clippers, obviously the Clippers won, but the Bucks, Clippers, Lakers, perform like this, you're thinking, all right, it's fine, whatever. They're going to get out of the first round. I think this is a lot more interesting now where I don't know if it's a guarantee like that. I really don't. I think it's going to at least make for an interesting series where some of these, I don't know about the Clippers one, because I could definitely see them that might have been the Mavs' best chance.
Got you.
But with the Magic and the Blazers versus their respective teams, could those go 6-7 games and just make it interesting where all of a sudden now, with the storylines with Giannis, can he do it? Can he advance to the finals this year? Can he put the team on his back? I could see them pressing, man. Yeah. I could see them pressing and it just, getting a little interesting.
Yeah, you call it interesting. I call it if Giannis is not in there after the first round, or Bron's not in after the first round, I'm probably not going to watch it again.
Wow.
It is what it is. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. I don't want to see the Magic. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. It's nothing interesting to me about them, man. No. You call it interesting for me. I'm just like, all right, it's over. I'm cool. Whoever wins. I'll watch it next year, man.
No, you're right. The next round series might not be as interesting, but what I'm saying is this first round series would be interesting.
All I'm saying is if it's a scenario where you get the Magic playing the Rockets for the finals, I'm not watching that, bro.
I don't think that's happening.
Oh, no one thought that the Magic would be able to do what they did in game one. No one thought, well, I'm sure people still thought with the Trailblazers because they've been hot throughout this whole process that they could get a couple of games, push that series. Without a doubt, Dame Dollar, we know what he can do. But the Magic we talk about, it would not surprise me if the Magic go ahead and beat the Bucks in that series because we saw they just like the better team. They're playing better, they're playing harder. On top of the fact that if Giannis doesn't go crazy for 4 games, they don't have anybody else that's going to step up like that. And even in the Lakers game, you saw that, okay, LeBron was doing his thing. AD in the first half killed, but the second half kind of disappeared.
That's been one of the big question marks with him. Obviously, he's been killing it throughout the regular season. He's killed it throughout all of his career, but when the chips are down, is he going to step up like that?
You remember, though, we can't say every time because he did single-handedly put out Portland. Was that his last year in New Orleans where he averaged 30 a game in the playoff series versus them? So he has shown that he can do it. That was a good
run for the Pelicans.
He definitely shown that he can do it, but it's just the consistency element of it. Whereas, like I said, you see LeBron's triple-double.
In that scenario, you got nothing to lose. No one's expecting you to do anything. Correct. But now, a lot of this is on you. To be honest with you, because you don't have much of a team around you. It is going to be a LeBron and AD show.
And both of those guys have to show up. And like I said, even when you look at LeBron, even if he doesn't give you 30, he's still going to impact the game in so many other ways. Whereas with AD, there have been times we've seen where he kind of disappears and you're just like, all right, come on back, AD. We need you here. So it'd be interesting to see though what he does, man.
That's funny, man.
What's up?
I'm just not watching here on out, is what you said. That's fine.
Because I don't want to watch the Magic in the second round. I'm not going to lie to you. There's nothing appealing about that to me.
I wouldn't blame you if they're somehow playing the Pacers or the Heat in the second round. I don't want to watch that. I don't know who wants to watch that.
Listen, the only reason I was watching the Pacers in the Heat was because of the whole TJ Warren and Jimmy Butler thing. Yeah. But other than that, I'm like, I don't want to watch that game either.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's bad basketball, man. Number one, like I said, intensity is down. It reminds me of summer league, and at least if I'm gonna watch a game that's gonna put me in the summer league vibe, at least let me watch the star players in that. But you take the stars away, and it's just that, I'm cool. I don't want to watch that. I mean, you saw. I forgot.
Dude, the Mavs Clippers is going to be interesting, though. I mean, it goes back to what you're saying about stars. They got stars on both sides.
Man. When the Nuggets and Jazz were playing, I remember the commentator. He simply said, "This looks like a LA Fitness pickup game," and I was like,
the thing before half, that was trending on Twitter,
and I was like, "Yeah, you're not lying. I feel you."
That game finished out really good, though.
It did,
really good.
Did the overtime and everything? Yeah, that looked good.
I'm surprised Jazz are even somehow still relevant in this, how they were able to take it to overtime like that. I mean, they were beating them they had that. I mean, it was back and forth, but it did feel like Jazz were outplaying them for a decent amount. It was more Donovan Mitchell, but them not having Conley, obviously, no Bogdanovich. I was telling you, I think they're going to be the easiest play for the West in the first round, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess they're staying afloat. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, they look good.
I don't think they're going to be able to hold it up, man.
All I'm saying is this. I think that Nuggets or that Jazz team, you would have put them versus that Bucks team that showed up. You would have put them against that Lakers team that showed up, or even that Clippers team that showed up. I still think they would have got that win the way they were playing in that overtime game versus how all three of those other teams played in the first round. I mean, that opening game. I don't like this scenario because if it's a situation where the Jazz are advancing, I don't want to watch that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to watch that, bro.
It's the team that loses fault, though.
I don't care. It is what it is. I'm just telling you. I'm just putting it out there, man. There's no surprise with it.
If you were a commissioner, like people rip on commissioners or say like, "Oh man, the higher ups are voting for certain teams to win," you know what I mean? Like if you were commissioner, you wouldn't want the Jazz or these teams to go on.
No, this is the thing though. If you're the commissioner, that's different. Like I'm not about to come over here and mess with the product. Whoever wins. Whoever you promote them, the way you promote them. I'm simply saying as the consumer, you have the option of, do I want to watch this or not? For me, I'm personally not interested in watching the Jazz. Otherwise, I would have watched them year round. I'm not personally interested in watching the Magic. Otherwise, I would have watched more of them.
That's why the commissioners are thinking that, though, in the back of their mind.
Yeah, they can have it, man. Hey, that's my thing.
Not saying they're coming out to say it, but obviously a commissioner would want a Steelers-Cowboys Super Bowl. I mean, that'd be big for ratings.
I mean, from rating standpoint, Giannis needs to be there, Harden, Bron,
you gotta have Bucks. You gotta have Bucks coming out of the East. You need it.
Otherwise, who you watching?
I mean, you're going to watch the finals because if it's Lakers or Clippers, I don't know. Any of those teams out of the West, outside of the Jazz, I think would be an interesting finals. But yeah, for East, I think you got to have Giannis in there.
I was about to say, because Philly, nah.
Not anymore with no Simmons.
Ooh, Brooklyn might do something. What about Brooklyn?
Hell no, dude.
You would have watched the Brooklyn finals?
No, they're not doing anything. I'm just saying, even if the Magic win this first round, it's just going to come back to the mean, though. They're not making the finals.
Who would they play, though? I'm trying to think.
I have no clue. Who's
actually,
the number
they would be
seed?
No. Bucks Magic, they would go Pacers Heat, or never mind. No. It's going to reset and everything.
Who's the number 2?
So the 2 are the Raptors, and then the 3 are the Celtics.
They play the Raptors.
So. Yeah.
They would lose. It's just like that I don't know, what was their I believe the Golden State team that beat the Mavs in the first round, like the I believe Warriors, whatever it was.
Yeah, with Baron Davis dunking on
yeah, you know, that type of scenario can happen where you have an 8 seed beating a 1 seed. It's like this miraculous thing, but they're going to regress back to the mean.
Even though I do feel like that, I feel like under a normal where you're really home and away, you feel that whole, it was an upset or they stole home court. That I still didn't even feel that watching these games, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was watching it even
where this would be an upset. You could just you would just figure Magic are the better team right now.
Yeah, it didn't come off as like, oh, this is a big upset to me. Whereas if they were to lose these games at home, legit, like, oh, this game was in Milwaukee, this game was in LA, then I think it feels a lot different.
Well, that goes to my point, and it would be that much more drastic of an upset if it was the typical home series with the fans and all that type of stuff where I just think the chances are so much smaller. But now in this setting, it doesn't feel like that unrealistic.
No, it just feels like I'm watching pickup basketball, man.
Pickup, I don't know, man.
That's what it feels like.
I don't know. I think it's quality ball. I think it's fine.
It's quality pickup ball. It's like the highest level of pickup basketball right now, bro.
So you're saying asterisk for champion no matter what?
I'm not saying that. If you win the championship, you win the championship.
That's what I mean. I think to win the championship in this setting, it's different, but there's definitely going to be some stuff in play that wouldn't be for a typical playoff series. There's going to have to be some mental toughness here. You got to stay focused.
I feel like it's going to be some stuff that makes it challenging, but it's also stuff that makes it a lot easier.
No flying for sure.
Yeah, no flying. When you talk about having to deal with home court advantage and things like that, you don't have to deal with any of that.
If you're the lower seed for sure.
That makes it a lot easier for you. So, like you said, man, it's no asterisks beside it. Whoever wins it, wins it. I'm just simply saying if there's no Bron, no Giannis, I'm not really going to be tuned in like that.
Okay, got you. Understood, man. Understood.
But either way, it's going to be good, though.
Do you have anything else about the games? I mean, you're right. There was, at the end of the game, you want to talk about the Lakers. Dude, Gary Trent was like wide open for that three at the end. It's like, it did. They were up, though. They were up in the fourth quarter. They came back. The first half, they were down like double digits for most of that.
But then, in the fourth, they were up by like, I think it was like 6 or 7 at one point when I was tuning in, like watching and stuff like that.
Couldn't close it out. Blazers were just they were just hitting those threes, dude.
Well, that's the thing. They were we called it earlier. They hit their knockdown shots, their open shots. You saw Melo hit a big shot. Like you said, Gary Trent hit a big shot. Dame hit a couple big shots. Dude, I mean, when he be pulling up, man, it's nuts, bro.
Yeah, that one at the end. Nuts. I think was it tied 89 or something?
That was the dagger, bro. He hit that, and I'm just like, ooh, dang. Love it.
I think for as much as it's a mismatch for the Blazers with the Lakers having the size and having LeBron and AD, the guard play with the Blazers is a mismatch for the Lakers. Major. So it's just going to be who can expose that the most and come out of this series.
Yeah,
Lakers they should still be the favorites, I think. But, dude, I don't think this is going to be an easy thing for them to come back. I really don't.
Well, like I said, the matchup with Portland isn't going to be easy just because of the guard element of it. If it was strength versus strength, that's one thing, right? Because then you say our stars are better than your stars. But that's not. It's your strength is interior, their strength is guard play. All right, who has the bigger of the mismatches? From an interior standpoint, it doesn't look like that big of a mismatch right now. When you saw how Hassan Whiteside was playing.
No, yeah. Like Blazers got dudes that at least they could be throwing at you,
right.
You know?
Whereas with the Lakers guard play, they don't have the different type of body types or different rotations they could throw at Dame and all those guys. That's where I feel like the mismatch was more exploited in that game. And that's why I said earlier, the only way the Lakers can really take over this series and win it, they have to either limit the possessions from the Trailblazers, and the only way they're going to do that is by getting the second chance points, because defensively, they haven't even showed, like they tried to have the intensity early on in the game, but once again, that thing kind of dwindled off and things like that. So if you're not going to have the crazy intensity from a defensive standpoint to minimize their second chance shots, to make them have tough shots and stuff like that, you have to pound them on the offensive glass. So that way you're getting multiple possessions and things like that. Because right now with the Trailblazers, they can score with guard play. We said this is just like March Madness.
They have a better 5-6 man rotation.
Yeah, but we said with the way this bubble situation is very similar to the March Madness situation in terms of if you have great guard play, you can make something happen just because of the matchups you're going to get and stuff like that. And that's what we're seeing in this game right now. I mean, you're seeing with the Trailblazers, just the guard play that they have, the small ball. It looks good. No different than the Rockets and why they've been looking good. The small ball is working right now.
Yeah, Melo's playing good too. Like,
shout out to Melo, man.
Dude, he's making all these guys look like fools. All these teams that pass on him. Seriously, like the Lakers could use him so much right now.
There's a lot of teams that could use them, man. I love it.
I know. It's so good for him, man.
Yes, indeed.
Like, I know he didn't shoot like crazy efficiently yesterday, but still, I think he double-digit boards, 5 assists,
and it's still
he's making plays.
I mean, this is the third or fourth game in a row where he's had a clutch late game bucket to either go ahead, tie, or seal it. So I mean, for me, I love it, bro.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
What was I reading? I think this is actually the first playoff matchup between LeBron and Melo. Yeah, I was reading that the other day. So he's one dude that I'm not saying anyone's afraid of LeBron or anything, but dude, he probably sees himself on a level similar to LeBron just because they were in the same draft class. And
I mean, you think about how their careers parallel, whether it was competing in high school, even him winning a championship as a freshman at Syracuse, like. He feels like he's up there with them. They both are Olympic gold medalists.
Whether he's right or wrong, but like, I don't think he has that mindset of like, oh, LeBron's like unbeatable or anything. I'm sure he thinks I could take LeBron. I'll take him any day.
He actually was doing a decent job when they matched up a little bit. I was like, all right, Melo, I see you, baby. I like it.
Yeah, that's it. I've enjoyed it so far, man. I've enjoyed it.
It's been cool.